And the whole multitude of them arose and led him into Pilate. And they began to accuse him, saying, We found this fellow perverting the nation and forbidding to give tribute to Caesar, saying that he himself is Christ a king. And Pilate asked them, saying, Art thou the king of the Jews? And he answered, saying, and said, Thou sayest it. Then said Pilate to the chief priests and to the people, I find no fault in this man. And they were the more fierce, saying, He stirred up the people, teaching throughout all Judea, beginning from Galilee to this place. When Pilate heard of Galilee, he asked whether the man was a Galilean. And as soon as he knew that he belonged unto Herod's jurisdiction, he sent him to Herod, who himself also was at the Jerusalem at that time. And when Herod saw Jesus, he was extremely glad, for he was desirous to see him of a long season, because he had heard many things of him, and he hoped to have seen some miracles done by him. Then he questioned with him in many words, but he answered him nothing. And the chief priests and the scribes stood vehemently accusing him. And Herod with his men of war sat him at naught and mocked him, and arranged him in a grievous robe, and sent him again to Pilate. And the same day Pilate and Herod were made friends together, for before they were an enmity between themselves. Then Pilate, when he had called together the chief priests and the rulers and the people, said unto them, You have brought this man unto me as one that prevented the people, and behold, I, having examined him before you, have found no fault in this man, teaching those things whereof you accuse him. No, nor yet Herod, for I sent you to him, and lo, nothing worthy of death is done unto him. I will therefore chastise him and release him. For my necessity he must release one unto them at the feast. And they cried out at once, saying, Away with this man, and release us Barnabas, who for a certain sedition made in the city for the murderer was cast into prison. Pilate therefore, willing to release Jesus, spoke again to them. But they cried, saying, Crucify him, crucify him. And they said unto them the third time, Why, what evil has he done? I have found no accuse of death in him. I will therefore chastise him and let him go. And they were incensed with their loud voice, requiring that he must be crucified. And the voice of them and of the chief priests prevailed. And Pilate gave sentence that it should be as they required. And he released them that for sedition and murder was cast into prison, whom they had desired, but he delivered Jesus into their will. And as he led him away, they laid him upon one Simon of Cyrene, coming out of the country, and on him they laid the cross, and that he might bear after Jesus. And they followed him, a great company of people, and a woman, which he bewailed and lamented him. But Jesus, turning unto him, said, Daughter of Jerusalem, weep not for me, but weep for yourself and for your children. For behold, the days are coming, and in the in the which they shall say, Blessed are the barren, and the womb that has never bore, and the pulp which has never sucked. Then shall they begin to say to the mountain, Fall on us, and to the hill, cover us. For if they do these things in a green tree, what shall be done in the dry? And they were also 2 other malefactors led with him to put to death. And when they came, I'll take that again. And when they were come to the place which is called Calvary, they crucified him and the malefactor, one on the right hand and the other on the left hand. Then said Jesus, Father, forgive, for they know not what they do. And they parted his remnant and cast lots. And the people stood beholding, and the rulers also with them they read him, saying, He saved others, let him save himself. If he be Christ, the chosen of God. And the soldiers also mocked him, coming to him and offering him vinegar, and saying, If thou be the King of the Jews, save thyself. And the superscription also was written over him in a letter of Greek and Latin and Hebrew, This is the King of the Jews. And one of the malefactors which were hanged railed on him, saying, If thou be the Christ, save thyself and us. But the other answering rebuked him, saying, Dost not thou fear God, saying, Thou art in the same condemnation, and we indeed justly, for we receive the due reward of our deeds. But this man has done nothing amiss. And he said unto Jesus, Lord, remember me when thou comest into thy kingdom. And Jesus said unto him, Verily I say unto thee, today thou shalt be with me in paradise. And it was about the 6th hour, and there was a darkness all over the earth until the 9th hour. And the sun was darkened, and the veil of the temple rent into the mist. And when Jesus had cried with a loud voice, he said, Father, into thy hands I commit my spirit.
Shut up.
And having said this, he gave up the ghost. Now, when the centurion saw what was done, he glorified God, saying, Certainly this was a righteous man. And all the people that came to that sight, beholding the things which was done, smote their breasts and returned. And all his acquaintances and the women that followed him from Galilee stood afar off, beholding these things. And behold, there was a man named Joseph, a counselor, who was a good man and a just. The same had not concerted the council and the deeds of them. He was Arimathea, a city of the Jews, who also himself waited for the kingdom of God. This man went unto Pilate and begged the body of Jesus. And he took it down and wrapped it in a linen and laid it in a scapular that was hewn in a stone, wherein never man before was laid. And that day was the preparation, and the Sabbath drawn on.